Hello everybody, this is Howard the Teaserking coming to you with week 15 of the NFL. Um, just want to confirm I'm selling the bowl package through the playoffs, the college, $77. It's a very strong discount. Normally it would be, I think, $75 a week. There's 4 weeks of bowl games plus the playoffs. You're getting my locks. I have a 25 unit lock out there. Yes, it was posted last week. And it was deleted for last week because it doesn't play till this week. And since I show my history, and I'm probably the only handicapper who does, I didn't want to leave my 25 unit lock out there. So yes, of course I deleted it last week. It's on this week. I don't want anybody to think I'm not an honest person as I show all my results. So yes, you'll see it this week, and I'm doing it because if people bought before, I didn't want them to wait for the lock. I wanted to show them and give them the lock earlier than the game. The game is, first part of the lock is this Saturday. Second part of the lock's later in the bowl season. So it's a big 25 unit lock. I have a 21 unit lock for the pros. I have a 17 unit lock for the pros. This is a very huge week. Last week was not that strong. I told everybody it was like pocket nines, pocket tens. It was like some good games. I had Kansas City locked, that one. I had Seattle, and then I lost on the Rams over. That's the Jared Goff I know. In the big games, against the tough defenses, he chokes. I mean, I don't think he had 100 yards passing. And I'm wondering if they're starting to catch on to the Rams offense, like going, if we do this, we can stop it. If we do that, we can stop it. I'll tell you, Jared Goff looked terrible. I thought the play calling was terrible. They didn't run Curly the way they normally did. And basically the Bears were in their backfield. And they're all, Jared Goff, 4 interceptions. That's the Jared Goff in the playoff game against Utah in college. That's what he did, threw 4 or 5 interceptions. The Rams will never win the Super Bowl with Jared Goff. He is not a big game quarterback. He's not a winner. I am warning everybody, don't get caught up in this. Yes, he can beat the San Franciscos. When they play Seattle, he turns it over, and they're close games. Now if they played Seattle, I think Seattle would beat them. You can see New Orleans killed them, and here are the Bears, who are very good. I don't know how in the hell they lost to the Giants, except for Chase Daniel, basically threw a 2-yard interception at the guy I think ran back. And he threw another one that they got close, so they had 14 points. So if you're not going to let your defense play by giving the other team the ball at the 5-yard line, it does make it hard. But again, it's which team is the Bears? This one, the one against the Giants. I think with Trubisky, they're very strong. I don't know how the hell New England beat them after watching New England Miami. Oh my God, unbelievable. Anyway, so this week I got pocket aces all over the place. Like I said, 1, 2, 3, 4 games that are locked. I will have a 5th lock depending on the injury. And that injury being Ben Roethlisberger. If he plays, that's a lock. If he doesn't play, then I'm taking New England. And I'll be perfectly honest with you. So this looks like a really huge week. Highly recommend it. You can buy the month, which will, if you want the pros and the bowls. The bowls are $77. You get every bowl game I pick and the playoffs. I can throw $300 for the rest of the pros through the Super Bowl plus the bowls. So I can give you all of it. Right now I think it's on the site for $500 or $600. So as we get close to the end, there's not as many games. So you got 3 weeks. That'd be $300. Bowls are $77, $377. Then the playoffs, 3 weeks, be $677. So I'll do $300 for the whole package for the end of the year. And just email me. I don't have it on the site because I'm just thinking about it now. But just you can just go into PayPal, put in my email, hit 300, and email me. And email me first if you like, and I'll tell you that's what to do. And then I'll send you the password for the rest of the year, and there you go. So this is a very, very strong week. 17 unit lock, 21 unit lock, and you get the 25 unit bowl lock, which goes game 1 this weekend, game 2 is later on. So let's break it down. Who do you want? I mean, basically, it's like 90% of the games are strong plays here. Let's go to my favorite, Seattle and Frisco. Seattle's laying 5.5, over under a 44.5. Season series, Seattle's 4-1 in Frisco. The Dogs 4-1 in Frisco. Seattle's 8-0 when they're favored in the series. So they're not always favored, because when Harbaugh was there, Harbaugh was favored. But the last 8 times Seattle's been favored, they've won. So the matchup's fine. They have no problem playing in Frisco. They're on fire, basically. The line's only 5.5. Seattle's on their third quarter, or Frisco's on their third quarter. And I do like the quarterback. He looks good, but I don't think their defense can hold up against Frisco. I don't think their running back's playing. He's injured. Maybe he plays hurt, but you never know in the pros. They'll shoot up the hard drugs. Then they get caught for marijuana and they sit out 4 games. I don't understand it. Over under 44.5. So first let's go look at the numbers here. Seattle is a road favorite, because that's basically what they are. 2-0 this year. They've been the home favorite 4-1, so that's 6-1 is the favorite. On the road, they're 5-0 as the dog, so they're 7-0 on the road. In a teaser, they're 12-1, 92% Seattle. They've only lost once, and it wasn't to the Rams, so I don't remember who it was to. Bet against them, they're 1-1 as a road favorite. The 49ers, home dog. Now, they've been a home favorite a lot, which means they've been playing a lot of crappy teams. They're 1-1 as a home dog, 1-1 against. 8-5 overall in a teaser. 9-4 against. So if you tease Frisco, you're only 8-5. That's 62% with the 8 of the teaser. So there you go. I mean, they're just pretty weak. Let's go back to 17. Frisco as a home dog, 17-18 years. 5-4 is a home dog, 56%. 6-3 against. So it's not like Denver's a pretty good home dog. They get up and in the mile high, they kind of handle you. But Frisco, they just don't have the talent. And Seattle just needs the game. Seattle 5-0 is a road favorite. 10-0 is a road dog. 15-0 on the road. Their weak point actually is a home favorite. They're only 7-5. But any other on the road, for whatever reason, with that home field advantage, they're 15-0 on the road, 5-0 as a road favorite, 3-2 against. And overall, they're 24-5 against the spread, 83%. So you have Seattle, just powerful team, dominant. What I like about them is they run the ball, and they got Russell Wilson. I'm hoping Baldwin isn't too hurt and that he plays. But in the NFL, there's the backups come in, and it's really no problem. The only player you can't lose is if Seattle lost Russell Wilson. They'd be in trouble. But they lost Richard Sherman. They lost all their safeties, Earl Thomas, and they're still pretty good defensively. Not as strong as the Legion of Boom, but they're pretty strong. But they run the ball and everything. See, it's funny how the teams are now understanding they need to run the ball to rest their defense. And they need to run the ball to score inside the 10-yard line, because there's nowhere to throw it. So you've got to run the ball, and if you can run the ball, they can't stop you. You run the clock, you rest your defense. So, again, Seattle very strong as a road favorite. We'll go back to 2016, 2017, 2018. Roughly the last 45 games, 50 games. Now here, Seattle's only 6-5 as a road favorite. So here you can see they were a little injured. This is 2016. But if you just go 17 and 18, you can see how strong they are. So they had a bad year, which happens, but they bounced back. And we're looking for an overall trend. How's their psychology overall? Frisco, 9-6 as a home dog. 10-5 against. So there really isn't this huge trend against Frisco or with Frisco as a home dog. The trend's pretty much Seattle as a road favorite. I'll go back to 2015. Seattle's 11-6 as a road favorite if you go with them or against. Frisco 15-8 as a home dog. You go with them or against. Frisco 61% in a teaser since 2015. Seattle 72%. So the trends psychologically, Seattle has no problem being a road favorite. Coach Pete dominates, and they're just a really good team. Let's go into the other stats. I have Seattle scores 27 a game, gives up 22. So their defense is fairly good, 22. I like the defense under 20, and there's only a few of them. Dallas, Baltimore, and Chicago are the only defenses under 20. So because of that in this league, a 22 for Seattle is pretty good, and they scored 27 a game. And if you look at the teams with the best offenses, are the teams with the winning records and the teams in the playoffs. Kansas City 36, New Orleans 34, the Rams 33, Pitt 28, San Diego 28, New England 28, Chicago 28, Indy 27, Seattle 27. Then we get Tampa, but Tampa's the only one with this really bad defense that gives up 30. So we're looking at a very good offense. They pass for 226 a game. They run for a $148, 375 total. But a $148, I think, is the leader. Yeah, they're ahead of the Rams. Are a $132. So Seattle's the best running offense, and they still throw for 226, and that's just because they like to run. And you got Russell Wilson. So even if the game's close, it's like what I gave you on Kansas City last week. I said even if the game's close, and it did, Mahomes would win the game for you. That's what he did. They had the game even. They win by a field goal. They should have kicked the field goal at regular time, and they should have blitzed Lamar Jackson a lot more than they did because he's terrible. What that guy was a first-round pick. The GM should be fired because if he ain't fired, Harbaugh's getting fired because that team sucks on offense. That's one of the worst offensive teams I've ever seen. With this Lamar Jackson trying to throw 10-yard passes that are falling in the guy's feet. This is the freaking NFL. You got a quarterback out there that can't complete a 10-yard pass. What are you out of your mind? I would just blitz the hell out of Jackson. I'd send my linebackers from the outside. He can't go around him because he's going to rely on his speed to go out. He's not going to step up. He doesn't know to step up. From what they're telling me on the TV, he doesn't even know how to call an audible. This guy's terrible. All right, back to the focus. Frisco. Frisco scores 21 a game, and their defense gives up 27. Another thing I look for. They do throw, well, I don't even know anymore. They throw for 265 and run for 125. Offensively, they were pretty good, but now with this new quarterback and the running back banged up, I don't mind the third-string quarterback. Seems pretty good. But again, you got to understand the first 2, 3, 4 games, you've never seen the guy. Then you get the film on him, and once you got the film on him, you know his strengths, you know his weaknesses. You take away his strengths, go to his weakness, and all of a sudden he turns into nobody. So keep that in mind as we go through everything. So let's look at it. We got Nick Mullins, the Frisco quarterback, in his 5 games. Not bad. He's thrown for 1,500 yards, 300 a game. It's probably, well, I guess, yeah, he never came in a game, so it's always been starting. He's thrown 9 touchdowns and 6 interceptions. Not too bad. Does he get sacked a lot? He's been sacked 10 times, so it's like twice a game for 82 yards. So you can't compare it to a guy who's played 13 games and has been sacked 25 times. But 10 times does seem a lot for the 5 games when I got 18 here for Roethlisberger's been sacked 18 times. Mahomes has been sacked 23 times in 13 games. So if you like sack per game, he's under 2, and this guy's at 2. So yeah, that's a lot of sacks. Let's look at Seattle. Russell Wilson. He's down a little bit because he doesn't have the high yards per game. That's how I break it down. He throws for 226 a game, 66%, 29 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, and he's clutch. When does he throw the touchdowns? Big win over Minnesota at home. Teaserking had it big, had it in multiple teasers. He's been sacked 37 times, which is a lot. I see a few guys in the 40s. Who are these guys? Eli Manning and Derek Carr have been sacked 43, 42. So he gets sacked a lot, but I think he runs a lot, so maybe he doesn't get back to the line of scrimmage. They're calling it a sack, so he's scrambling around, but he's very tough to tackle. Running backs. Chris Carson, 700 yards, 4 touchdowns, nothing special, but a decent runner. Who am I looking at? Frisco's got a good runner. Matt Breida, 744 yards, but I think he got injured. But he only has 3 touchdowns, so he's not really your touchdown guy. Let's see if Seattle has any other running backs. Mike Davis, 400 yards. He's played 11 games, but he might be more of a guy out of the backfield. So there's where you have it. So basically, Seattle needs the game. They're a playoff team. They're not going to catch the Rams, but obviously they want to make sure they're in the playoffs, which mathematically they could lose the rest of the games and be out. This is a team that they play very well against, San Francisco. This is a game they must win. So now, who needs it for the playoffs enters into the analysis, right? In the beginning, it's you're not worried about the playoff game. Although there was the one New England game when they started like 1-3, and they were playing Miami, who was 4-0, and if Miami won, it was all over for New England. So they had to win that game, and they blew out Miami at home. So there's that. Also, you've got to look at the whole picture, but now it's very clear Seattle needs the game. Down here, I got a 21-unit lock and a 17-unit lock. Boy, it's just this should be a fabulous week. I just want to keep an eye on the injuries. Like I said, Roethlisberger hurt his ribs. They lose to Oakland, but Pitt's lost 3 in a row. So I don't know what the heck's going on there. New England, after that miracle loss, could be a little bit flat because now they've lost 2 in a row. As I've said, New England's not New England. They're not a shoe-in to go to the Super Bowl. They're not a shoe-in to get home field advantage. They're going to win their division because their division's so weak. But I don't think they can go to KC and win. I know they couldn't go to New Orleans and win. They could probably go to the Rams and win. But I don't know that they could go to Dallas or Seattle and win. In the AFC, it's just a lot of bad teams. You've got Kansas City, and then it's Pittsburgh, Baltimore. Who the hell knows with Jacksonville and Houston and Tennessee and Indy? Those teams are so inconsistent. I have no freaking clue about any of them. And it's with luck, Indy looks better. Tennessee with Mariota, he's terrible. And Houston looks better with their quarterback. He's back. I don't know that he's very healthy, but he's back. When they get Kiki Cote back, Houston will be really explosive. That guy's a great receiver for Texas Tech last year. So that's about. So you really, it's the top teams. It's KC, New Orleans, the Rams, San Diego, New England, Chicago. Those are your big teams. So that's what you're looking for. Specifically, San Diego and Chicago have both very good offenses and very good defenses. Houston's like that. Baltimore, I can't trust Lamar Jackson. Although they did play Kansas City very tough, I'll give them that. Where are they this week? See, this week they're an 8-point favorite over Tampa, and I think that line's crazy. I think that line should be 4 or 5 at best, especially with Lamar Jackson. What you got to notice too is teams changing. Dallas gets Amari Cooper, now they're more offense. They're more of an over team. You've got Cincinnati getting their quarterbacks hurt, and then they go into San Diego and play a tough game. So as I say, this is pro football. You get an injury, it really doesn't matter because when they get injured, the other guy's a professional. It's not college where it's a freshman who's never played before. This is a professional giving his opportunity. Who knows how he's doing? He's a good player. He played in college, plays 3 or 4 years in college. He knows what he's doing. So you got to be careful. Here comes Cincinnati. Their third string quarterback looked damn good last week. San Diego obviously looking ahead to Kansas. It's funny. Pittsburgh looked ahead to New England and didn't play Oakland. San Diego looked ahead to Kansas City and didn't play Cincinnati very well. These guys know the point spread. It's 15. KC's 15 over Oakland. They don't cover. San Diego's 15 over Cincinnati. I'm like, this isn't college, fellas. You cannot play these 16-point, even to tease it. You can't tease over 7. Ever. Ever. No matter who. I remember Denver, when Peyton Manning was there, was playing some real crappy team. And they were laying like 22 points. And I think they scored 24 in the game and won like 24-10, and of course didn't cover. It's not college. It's not Oklahoma putting up 60 points. All they're trying to do is win. At the end of the game, they're going to run the ball and run the clock. And if you don't get the turnovers, the only way a game goes over is if you have pick sixes, strip sack fumbles, used to be kickoff returns, which they have gotten out of the game, which really pisses me off, punt returns, which every punt return there's a holding on, which is really making it sick too. These refs are way too involved. There's way too many penalties. You got to let them play, and unless it's something that's very vicious, helmet to helmet, yes, then it should just be a personal foul. And I really hate the college rule where they actually like throw the guy out for a game. That's stupid because they're not intentional. 99% are not intentional. There's 1% where the guy's headhunting. Okay, that's obvious. Throw him out. But when I'm going to tackle and then the running back slips and then he lowers his head, that's not personal foul. That's an accident. So you can't call it like intentional. There's how many times you hear accidental tripping on a pass, so they don't call pass interference because he accidentally tangled his feet. Okay, so my head lowered and his head lowered when we hit heads. That doesn't mean it was so it was accidental heads. So you can't, it's just stupid. The whole rules of let's make football safe is like making car racing safe. Well, let's only drive 50 miles an hour because it's dangerous. We don't want them going 250 miles an hour. I mean, it's freaking insane. It's football. We like it. It's contact. That's the way it is. Don't watch it if you don't like contact. People get hurt. That's what they do. And I'm so sick of these announcers going, well, why is Joe Smith in the game? He should still be in the game. They're up 7 points, and obviously they're going to win the game. Why is he still in he should be out. He might get hurt. I'm like, oh, my God. Where the hell am I living? It's just ridiculous. Anyway, so there's your game. Take Seattle. Lay the half. Lay the 1. Or no, you should be getting a half or even. And there's no such thing as not going over the 0. It's like, well, 0 doesn't count. That's not the point. The point is, if you're like me, the spread's wrong. Like Seattle was giving 3 to Minnesota. The spread should have been 7. All I cared about was not having to lay anything. So when I got Seattle in 3, in my mind, Seattle's a 7. And as long as I don't have to lay 1, I get 3. It's even a bigger bet. I had them in 3 teasers. That's the point of the teaser. Here, the whole point is to get Seattle off the board. So instead of going 5 or 5.5 or 6, it's 0 or a half. It's not about the 0 coming in. It's about I don't have to lay a point. Seattle's going to win the game. Look at Kansas City, Baltimore. It's the same thing. I took Kansas City down to even. They win the game. That's all. That's perfect. That's why it was a lock. You wanted to win the game. So you got to understand they're playing to win. They're not playing to run the score up. So it's very hard. Unless you get a lot of pick sixes, you're not seeing a 40-10 game too often. It happens, but not a lot. Last week, was there any big scoring? 34-20 Green Bay, 28-14 New Orleans, 40-60. The Giants were the blowout. Go figure that out. And Seattle 21-7. I mean, so yeah, you get it on turnovers. The Giants' offense didn't produce 40 points. They got turnovers, pick sixes, strip sacks, block punts, whatever, and then it was a quick score. Or the defense is scoring, so be careful with that. Anyway, so a lot of locks this week in the pros. 25-unit college lock is available if you buy the bowls. You can buy everything for $300. You'll get the rest of the pro. You get the rest of the year through the Super Bowl, all the college, $300. You got big week in the pros. You've got the lock, first part of the lock, the 25 unit is going Saturday in college, and beautiful. It's a beautiful lock. It's what you wait for. This lock in the pros, this big lock in the pros is 21 units. It's what you wait for. I mean, I've waited probably a year for this perfect. I got the right team as the dog. It's unbelievable. It's like, finally. Because normally what happens is you look at the game and you go, man, if this is the dog, I'm going to lock it. And they make them the favorite. And you're like, shit. Here, if they're getting the 9, it's a lock. If they're giving and then I don't, then the other team is getting the 9. It's not the lock. So finally got the right team, the right dog, getting the points. Beautiful. Just what I live for. And I know how to take advantage of it. So yeah, so when I put a lock in, it's going to be in 2 or 3 teasers. So if you just want to look at my locks, you got to look at the whole package, because that lock team goes into 3 or 4 teasers. So be careful there. And again, yes, I deleted a game because it hadn't been played yet, and it's playing this week. So my history is clean and honest, and basically I'm not going to leave a lock uncovered because I show all my picks. So I can't show a game that hasn't happened. It's happening this week when I'm trying to help my customers by getting it early. I'm trying to say, pick it up now, and if you bought the week or people bought the bowl package last week, they got the lock already instead of waiting for this week to get the lock, because we all know how important the point spread moves. All right, everybody, www.teaserking.com. Have a great weekend, and again, the bowl special, $77, all the picks. www.teaserking.com. Have a great week, everybody, and I look forward to a great holiday season. Thank you very much.